The year is 2003. The air crackles with anticipation. Beyoncé knows is on the cusp of superstardom, ready to explode beyond Destiny's Child and claim her place as a solo icon. And Baby Boy, the infectious reggae-infused track featuring Sean Paul, is her rocket fuel. The song is everywhere, radio, clubs, MTV, you couldn't escape it even if you wanted to. When the song it was a global phenomenon, a summer anthem that cemented Beyoncé's transition. But behind the pulsating beat and suggestive lyrics, a drama was unfolding, a shadow creeping across what should have been a celebratory moment. A drama that, even 2 decades later, still ignites speculation and fuels conspiracy theories. The VMAs that year were supposed to be the coronation. 50 million viewers tuned in, ready to witness Beyoncé's grand entrance, and she delivered, descending the stairs with that signature swagger, belting out Baby Boy with unmatched energy. Except something was glaringly, undeniably wrong. Sean Paul was nowhere to be seen. He was in the audience, a silent observer as Beyoncé performed their #1 hit alone. Paris Hilton, ever the astute social commentator, reportedly leaned over and asked him, "Why aren't you up there?" A seemingly innocuous question, but one that cut to the heart of the simmering controversy. The official explanation was scheduling conflicts, a simple, easily digestible narrative that the public mostly accepted. But for those in the know, those who saw the rehearsals in Jamaica, the energy between the two artists, it didn't add up. Sean Paul had been ready, eager, and contractually obligated to perform. Then, suddenly, he was sidelined with no clear reason, no apology, just a cold, abrupt dismissal. The whispers started immediately. Whispers of jealousy, of a power play, of a carefully constructed image being fiercely protected. The obvious target for blame, Jay-Z, Beyoncé's then boyfriend, now husband. The narrative wrote itself. A possessive partner, threatened by the undeniable chemistry between Beyoncé and Sean Paul, pulling strings to eliminate the competition. It was a juicy story, a classic tale of love, power, and ego. And it fit the optics perfectly. A rising star from Jamaica, suddenly silenced as Beyoncé ascended to the throne alongside her hip-hop mogul king. The timing was too convenient, the message too clear. But Sean Paul, surprisingly, deflected the blame. He didn't deny the snub, the embarrassment, the sheer weirdness of the situation, but he pointed the finger not at Jay-Z, but at Beyoncé's management team. A shadowy phrase is how some described them. A tight-knit group, fiercely protective of Beyoncé's image, led by her father, Matthew Knowles. They were known for their control, their meticulous planning, their willingness to do whatever it took to elevate Beyoncé to the top. And in their eyes, perhaps Sean Paul was a liability, a source of unwanted attention, of rumors that could tarnish the carefully crafted narrative of the rising queen. But the VMAs were just the beginning. A few months later in Scotland, during another performance, Sean Paul's microphone mysteriously cut out mid-verse. A technical glitch? Maybe. But the timing was suspect, the convenience undeniable. Beyoncé continued singing, the beat kept pounding, but Sean Paul's voice vanished into thin air. Backstage, the tension reached a boiling point. Beyoncé confronted Sean Paul, demanding to know who was fueling the rumors, the gossip that threatened to derail her career. He denied any involvement, but the trust was broken. The damage was done, and the collaboration, once so promising, began to unravel. The Baby Boy video itself only added fuel to the fire. For a song so dripping with sensuality, so suggestive of a palpable connection, Beyoncé and Sean Paul never shared a single frame. It was a masterclass in editing, a Frankensteinian creation stitched together from separate shoots. It felt intentional, as if someone somewhere was determined to keep them apart, even on screen. Sean Paul later admitted he expected to be in scenes with her, but that never materialized. Was it creative vision, as he politely suggested? Or was it a calculated move to maintain distance, to control the narrative, to extinguish any lingering embers of speculation? Then came the radio interview, a seemingly innocuous chat on Jamaica's 2 Live crew that reignited the conspiracy. Host Wesley Berger casually dropped the bomb. Jay-Z didn't want Sean Paul anywhere near Beyoncé during the Baby Boy era. The room went silent. Sean Paul didn't exactly deny it. He let it hang in the air. A pregnant pause filled with unspoken truths. To me, that was something that was apparent at the time, he finally conceded. Apparent, Not confirmed, not denied, but apparent. It was enough to send the internet into overdrive, dredging up old theories, dissecting every interview, searching for clues in the digital detritus of the early 2000s. The question remained, what was the real game here? A series of isolated incidents, unfortunate coincidences, or a meticulously orchestrated plan to minimize Sean Paul's presence, to sanitize Beyoncé's image, to solidify her brand as a solo powerhouse? The pattern was undeniable. The separate video shoots, the scant live performances, the awkward body language, the palpable tension between their teams. It all pointed to something more than just scheduling conflicts or creative differences. It felt frosty. And the rumors, of course, refused to die. They mutated, evolved, fueled by the absence of concrete answers. Some fans went even further, conjuring up the specter of a secret child, a hidden pregnancy predating Blue Ivy, a relationship that never officially existed. It was a wild theory, a leap of faith based on speculation and conjecture, but it resonated with many because it offered an explanation for the inexplicable. Why else would they go to such lengths to erase Sean Paul from the picture? What were they trying to hide? Beyoncé reportedly confronted Sean Paul again, this time backstage at the MTV Europe Music Awards in November 2003. She was said to be furious, accusing him of stirring up the gossip, of jeopardizing her career. "These rumors mess with my career," she allegedly hissed. It wasn't a friendly chat. It was an interrogation, a desperate plea, a thinly veiled threat, and it only intensified the heat around them, the sense that something was being actively suppressed. Years later, the questions still linger. Why did a massive hit, a cultural phenomenon, get iced so quickly? If it wasn't Jay-Z's jealousy, as Sean Paul now insists, then who was pulling the strings? And why has Beyoncé never addressed it directly, never offered a clear explanation for the VMA snub, the missing performances, the pervasive sense of unease that surrounded their collaboration? The silence is deafening. And in the absence of answers, the theories continue to flourish, each one more elaborate, more convoluted, more desperate to make sense of a mystery that refuses to be solved. Blue Ivy's arrival in 2012, announced with a baby bump reveal at the VMAs, only reignited the flames. The internet, already primed for conspiracy, scrutinized every detail. Due dates were debated, wardrobe choices analyzed, and old interviews dissected for hidden meanings. If Beyoncé's team could so meticulously control the narrative around her pregnancy, what else had they been concealing all along? The legal battles surrounding Matthew Knowles' management further muddied the waters. Accusations of financial impropriety, creative differences, and a ruthless pursuit of control painted a picture of a machine that valued image above all else. If Beyoncé could sever ties with her own father, the man who had guided her career since childhood, how much easier would it be to cut off an outside collaborator, regardless of their talent or the success of their song? For years, Jay-Z bore the brunt of the blame, the jealous boyfriend, the puppet master pulling the strings. But Sean Paul's repeated insistence that the issue lay with management shifted the focus. It wasn't about love, it was about business, about protecting a brand, about controlling a narrative, about eliminating any potential threats to Beyoncé's carefully constructed image. The lack of a definitive explanation from Beyoncé herself only amplified the mystery. Why not address the rumors head on? Why not set the record straight? The silence spoke volumes. It suggested that there was something to hide, something that couldn't be easily explained away. Then came the resurfaced interview clips. Sean Paul, years later, still fielding questions about the baby boy era, still denying the affair, still downplaying the drama, but still acknowledging the strangeness of it all. The missing VMA performance, the separate video shoots, the palpable tension, it didn't add up. The internet, of course, never forgets. Message boards and gossip blogs became digital archives, preserving every rumor, every theory, every half-baked idea. The baby boy conspiracy became a cultural touchstone, a case study in the power of speculation, the enduring fascination with celebrity drama, and the insatiable hunger for truth. The video, viewed millions of times, became a key piece of evidence. Fans meticulously analyzed every frame, searching for clues in the editing, in the body language. In the absence of interaction, it was like a puzzle, a riddle wrapped in an enigma, and the internet was determined to solve it. Even today, the questions persist. What really happened in 2003? Was it a simple misunderstanding, a series of unfortunate coincidences, or was it a deliberate act of sabotage? A calculated move to protect a brand and control a narrative? The answers remain elusive, shrouded in secrecy and speculation. The truth, as always, is likely more complicated than any single theory. It's a messy mix of ego, ambition, jealousy, and control. A story of two artists caught in the crosshairs of a powerful machine, a machine that valued image above all else. And in the end, the music, the art, the collaboration became secondary to the business of building a brand. The absence of Sean Paul at the VMAs wasn't just a snub, it was a symbol. A symbol of the sacrifices made in the pursuit of fame, the compromises made in the name of success, and the often ruthless nature of the entertainment industry. A reminder that behind the glitz and glamour, there's always a story waiting to be told, a truth waiting to be uncovered.